For part C, we need to graph r is equal to 2 sine theta, and then we'll also graph that in rectangular. If we do the polar form first, we can make a little table of values here. I think I was using red for the other one, so we'll stick with that. All right, so we've got theta and r, and we're going to pick a theta being 0 right now. So that's 2 times the sine of theta, and the sine of 0 is 0, so this will be 2 times 0, which is actually 0. So the ordered pair 0, 0 is on the graph. If we pick another one, let's say maybe pi over 6, the sine of pi over 6 is a half, and a half times 2 happens to be 1. So at pi over 6, we would go out 1 unit. Let's try pi over 4. Now the sine of pi over 4 is root 2 over 2 times 2 is root 2, which is about 1.4. So my graph will look just a little bit like this. The sine of pi over 2 is 1, and 2 times 1 is 2. So we're going to go pi over 2 up 2. And then actually this shape will just kind of repeat itself over on the other side of the graph here. So we're going to have, let's see here, this point right there. And then another point will be right inside here. And this is actually going to form, it kind of looks like a circle. And that's exactly what it is. So let's try to change this now into rectangular, and then we'll go ahead and plot that on the right-hand side. So if we multiply by r on each side, we're going to wind up with r squared is equal to 2r sine theta. And then we can replace r squared with x squared plus y squared. That's equal to 2y. And if we do this here, we're going to have, if we subtract 2y, we're going to have minus 2y on the left side, and the 2y's will cancel out on the right. I know I'm going to have something here next. So what I've got to do is I've got to complete the square. So I'm going to take half of negative 2, which is negative 1, and square it. That's 1. What I add to the left side, I need to add to the right side. So I've got x squared plus y minus 1 squared is equal to 1. So if I plot that on the graph on the right-hand side, the center is 0, 1. My radius is 1. So I'm going to go right and left, up and down by 1 unit from that center. The center is actually not part of the graph, so we'll see if I can erase that. There we go. And we can draw the shape of this graph, which is the same shape as the one in red.